Hello my friends, Rotodil here, and today I have one of the most unique mobile phones I've ever reviewed. It's the Nothing Phone 1. As you can see, I already have it here. I've been using it for a while now. I'm just gonna tell you all about my experience with it. As you can see, it's over here. This phone is unique because the design is like a big feature here. As you can see right now, the biggest feature is basically having a transparent phone. That means that if you turn the phone around, you will see that all the back is transparent. We have the camera array, which has a nice primary camera. I'm gonna show you in a moment. I've been using it for a couple of weeks. And also you can see that there are a bunch of LEDs or LEDs over here on the back. These are visible once you get a phone call, or once, for example, you use the phone for reverse wireless charging, notifications, whatever. On the back of the phone itself, you also have a USB-C port, obviously, no headphone jack, and your audio out device. There's also the SIM tray over here. This has a single source audio output, so you won't get that from all sides or two sides of the phone. And that means that if you basically hold your hand like this, you're gonna you will cancel out most of the audio output. The screen here is very nice, and before we talk about the actual specs of the phone and its actual performance, which is something that's really important for me because I've actually compared this to all of the 10 plus other mobile phones that I've seen during this year, I just want to show you some of the photos that I took with it, because I had a lot of good trips with the phone itself. And as you can see right now, I did take a lot of different photos. The first one I want to show you guys is the detail on the different cameras. So we have an ultra wide camera over here, and we have a primary camera. And as you can see right now, I did take some photos with the ultra wide. I didn't get enough information when, for example, photographing text, as you can see over here on the ultra wide. The primary camera and the zoom was great, but it's not as good as I wanted. For example, when I usually review phones with ultra wide, I think the ultra wide is the weakest point or weakest link with this mobile phone. But the primary camera has a sensor of 1 on 1.56 inch, which is great. I have actually seen that sensor on some other mobile phones, and as you can see, you'll get a lot of blurry backgrounds with it. Here's a good light condition photo with the ultra wide. Still, when you zoom in, not that many details. However, it's still a good photo, I believe, and it's good that we have an ultra wide to actually capture photos like this. So even from a distance, you see that you get some blurry background with the primary camera, and it did get the job done in many of my photos that I want to have some a blurry background. They also get a lot of detail with it, which is nice. Here's a picture of a map I took here in beautiful Jerusalem. And moving on, you'll see I did take some photos over here of the ultra wide, and then switching back to the primary camera. Ultra wide has basically done its job, but like I mentioned before, no zooming in for you with the ultra wide. The primary camera has a lot of more details, so I'd prefer to use that maybe with panoramic mode if I'm taking any nature shots. Here's a nice sign that I took in the nature, and also another photo that you can see how the background becomes blurry even when I'm a bit far away from the subject. Some church shots, and yeah, some more nature shots, just blurring the background. This is without portrait mode, of course. This is just using the primary camera, and just look at the details. It's awesome. I love the primary camera on this phone. It's a good primary camera, and it also exists on many other phones. I think around 160 mobile phones already use that. So the selfie camera here is also nice. You get a lot of sharpness and detail. However, you don't get that much blurry background. And this is because the sensor size is not as big as it is with many other mobile phones that actually invest in the selfie camera. So that's something you do need to take into consideration, because that means that if you're taking photos of yourself in low light conditions, that is something that might be not as good as it is in other mobile phones. Moving on to some more shots, and I did have a couple of weeks to actually record many photos and videos, as you can see. So just showing you guys the capabilities of the Nothing Phone 1 and how blurry background you can get. And this is a low light condition photo that I took of one of the biggest aquarium in my country. And as you can see, in low light, it's really hard to get focus. However, I do think that I got some really nice shots using this mobile phone. The best way to actually record or take photos with this phone in low light conditions will be to use the manual mode. And as you can see over here, I did get a lot of sharpness, even though this is a really dark aquarium, and I got some beautiful, beautiful shots of the fish, as you can see. And yeah, this is where I kind of got the focus on this one, but because we have a kind of large sensor, I didn't get the focus on this one, and the aperture wasn't right to capture both of them. So a lot of good photos with this phone, definitely something that many people would have been surprised to see. And this is what happens when you actually use a phone for photography and you actually know how to use it with the manual mode. For example, here's another nice shot with the primary camera, of course, of this Medusa, what we call over here. So it's shark. And yeah, that's a selfie shot, just proving that with low light, as you can see right now, selfie shots are kind of hard to capture. There's a lot of grain, a lot of noise, not that much information on the photo itself, and it's totally blurry. So that's something that I would definitely not use. Here's the primary camera, however, in that low light condition. So sorry, that's two photo here. That's the ultra wide and that's the primary camera. Just look at the difference in low light. With the ultra wide, you can basically zoom in and you don't get that many details. And when you look at the primary camera, you get a lot more details and the photos look just great. So all in all, that's probably it. Another picture of the shuk, some shops, a hotel with the ultra wide, and yeah, another photo over here. So I just want to move to video, some food shots, and the video is great. I actually captured here 4K 30 FPS. As you can see, the focus shifting works great between the cat and the background, and I loved how I could actually record video like this one and just with my mobile phone have it seem like this. I'm using a professional camera with this primary sensor. Here's just me moving around in the shops of Jerusalem, and I also switched between the ultra wide right now. You're gonna see that soon. Just showing you guys how it looks like. This phone also has OIS on the primary camera. The sensor is basically canceling out your movements. It works great. As you can see, you can take a lot of moving videos like this one and you'll get stable videos. However, these jitters that you are seeing right now is basically happening when you move really fast and not as slow as the camera basically wanted you to move. So here's another video of the fish, and this is actually outside the marine. So very stable, just using OIS, as you can see right now. Great video. Another one over here of the fish, talking about low light conditions. Of course, we have them. Okay. In the end, you can see that the video quality is really great. I liked it. No stuttering. Everything looks so fine, like it's on the gimbal, but actually it was not. So I'm hand holding the phone. The resolution here is amazing. 4K 30. That's how I want the video to be recorded with a mobile phone. And yeah, when zooming in, obviously you do get a lot more grain, but still good job. So yeah, here's another video of the fish moving around. Looks awesome. I love this video on the phone. So yeah, I think that's kind of it when talking about cameras and how cameras perform with this mobile phone. I just want to show you guys some of the specs because I really been testing it in terms of how the performance stacks up. So we're gonna move to my screen right now. The screen is of the phone is 6.55 inch. It's a 1080 by 2400 and it looks awesome. I like that resolution. Sometimes you do see mobile phones with a higher resolution, and the problems with having higher resolution is that you basically have to spend more processing power maintaining it. I think in the end, the resolution that you get with this, with the screen size, is doing a great job. And I don't mind just using a lesser resolution than what I see on some of the flagships right now. So this has basically been released on July. I have it for a month, like I mentioned. The panel type is an OLED screen. It has a 120 Hz refresh rates, and it has a typical 500 nits brightness and 1200 nits peak. So in terms of brightness, I felt like I could use this phone anywhere. I didn't have any issues with it. However, you do see mobile phones nowadays like my Xiaomi 12 Pro, which have a higher peak brightness than this one, probably like 20 or 30% higher. Corning Gorilla Glass 5, and this is the important part here. So this uses a Snapdragon 778G Plus. Now, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this processor in a mobile phone, so I had to do my tests on it. And as you can see right now, I just want to show you guys, if I sort by, let's just sort by our single core processing power on mobile phones this year. So the Nothing Phone 1, as you can see over here, is in the middle. So that's the phone we are looking at. So compared to all of the phones that I've tested, it's now ranked at number 8. And this is when sorting by single core. So I got 815 single core performance and 2900, almost 3,000 when talking about multi-core performance. So that's not bad actually, but for a $500, $600 phone, I would probably want a bit more. So I just want to sort it and see if it's still on number 8. Yeah, so even when sorting our list on multi-core performance, we're seeing that on number 8 when comparing it to around 12 other phones that came out this year. So looking at the GPU performance, this is where things don't get as good. I got 17 FPS average FPS on 3D Mark Wildlife GPU test, which is less than what I got on the Nord 2T. I also got a score of 2800 on its wildlife test, and that's not as good as what I got on some of the phones that cost as much, where I got 4,000. And this basically means that this mobile phone is not really made for gamers. So if you are planning to play mobile games, that's not the phone you want to choose. All in all, the Antutu test was better. I got 584,000, as you can see over here. It's nothing like a flagship where you get 800,000 or 900,000, but it's still good enough. And another good thing that I found with this phone is that it doesn't heat up as much. The maximum temperature I got during that test was 36 degrees, while some of the other phones I tested this year got to 42 degrees, like the hot Xiaomi 12. Battery also lasted well on the test, only 3% loss on the battery. It's a 4,500 milliamps battery. The operating system is nothing OS. I'm going to talk about it in a moment, and the price is currently $600. It also has IP53, which is a nice addition. And we did talk about everything, I guess. The camera array on this, I did talk about it when I showed you the cameras before, but in the end, it's a 1.56 inch sensor size and an f-stop of 1.9. This is a great camera. It's 24 millimeter equivalent. It's a good mobile phone camera, and I kinda enjoy using it on all of the mobile phones that I tested, even on the Nord 2T, as you can see over here. The ultra-wide has issues with the sensor size. As you can see right now, it's a 1 on 2.76 inch, and that means it's a small sensor. The f-stop is kinda high with an f2.2, but you do have the ultra-wide, which you can use, but that's basically it. And the selfie camera also, big sensor, 1 on 3.1, and that's not a small, that's a really small sensor actually, and it's a 16 megapixel sensor. So all in all, a lot of information on this mobile phone, but in the end, what I wanted to show you guys is that this is not a powerful phone for those of you who really need a powerful phone. That's not it. You do get a lot of extra features like fingerprint under display, optical reader, reverse wireless charging and wireless charging, which is something that you don't usually see on these type of mobile phones. And that's funny, they got a higher Antutu score than me. I have no idea why. And that's I think that's it. The quick charge here is 33 watts, so it's not as good as many other mobile phones. Probably is one of the slowest quick charge that I've seen beyond the Samsung 25 watts. But still, you do have a higher than average charging rate with this mobile phone. So all in all, the Nothing is an interesting phone. I just want to show you the operating system on it, and as you can see, I turned it on. Basically, you don't get some of the features that I got used to in other mobile phones. For example, the lock screen, when I press on the on-off switch, which is on this side, and the volume buttons are on the other side, you don't have the option to basically slide for the camera, but you do have the option, for example, to double press the power switch and turn on the camera, as you can see right now. And things are different with this. So for example, if I actually pull from the top, you'll see how different the notification bar is in terms of how it looks. And you do have to double swipe for the brightness, as you just saw, the brightness change switch over here. And the interesting thing with this phone is that it has the glyph functions on the back. Now, they are not really that usable right now, but you, for example, can choose a ringtone, and over here you'll see the different glyph options. So basically, when I see a different glyph option here on choosing a ringtone, on the back of the phone, I'll see how it looks like. So it basically samples out the ringtone, and on this side you'll see a preview. You have around 10 of these, and I'm waiting for an option to have some kind of editor when I can play with this, and not having this as the only option of testing out the glyph. So yeah, it's interesting, and you can have other features here, like when you put the phone on the desk, it turns on the glyph mode and disables the ringtone. So for example, you want to have a silent meeting when only the glyph turns on, there's an option to do that. There's the notification settings, where it's basically the same as ringtones. You see the notifications, some nice sounds over there, but still I would want to have some options to customizing the glyph on it. But I think it's a nice feature. It's probably the nicest Android design that I have seen. So yeah, that's the glyph, and I think that Nothing has done a good job with this phone. I liked it. I think it has a great primary camera. I think the pricing is right for a phone like this. It has one of the most interesting designs, and all in all, I really recommend this as a mobile phone, and I'm excited to see what they will do and add up to this mobile phone as time goes on. So one more feature that I didn't talk about is what you get in the box. The box is kind of simplistic, and it's a single-use box, so you can't put it back once you basically cut it open, just like with the Nothing Ear. So with the box itself, I did put some tape over here so I can close it up after I use it. Here's the accessories over here. You don't get much, you do get a cable, so that's basically it, and this piece of paper, and of course the phone itself. So all in all, that's basically what you get with this mobile phone. I hope you enjoyed my review, and let me know in the comments below what do you think about the Nothing Phone 1. You are more than invited to subscribe, because I'm gonna stick on reviewing everything that Nothing continues, as I do use their mobile phone and their Nothing Ear, which I love. I actually got the black version right now. It's an amazing set of earphones that I really recommend for any of you guys who are considering to buy a cheap earphones with sound noise cancellation. So thank you very much for watching. I was Rotodil. More information on the video description, like up-to-date pricing and links to my other reviews on the sides. I hope I'll see you on my next review. Bye bye.